That we once showed Russia that we're tiny but mighty. We try to fight for you guys in the global courts and everything. Same as we do for Belarus. Either Russia or China, we just don't care. We believe in it as a country, I think.
大家好，我是米拉。
大家好，我是世凯。
最近我们看到一些国际新闻，去年疫情爆发之后，台湾送给立陶宛10万个口罩，而现在立陶宛要送给台湾2万剂疫苗。
我的立陶宛朋友看到了这个新闻，就很兴奋的在脸书上 tag 我，感觉他对这个新闻很有兴趣，所以我就很好奇，就跟他约了一个时间，想跟他聊聊看，到底立陶宛人是怎么看这个新闻的？那一般立陶宛人又是怎么看台湾呢？我们一起来聊聊看吧。
We are very happy today to meet with Justina. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi,
Thank you for
guys.
joining us.
Yeah.
How did you know this news, and what do Lithuania's media write about it?
I actually got to know the news about the vaccines because one of my friends shared the Facebook post of your president on Facebook. So I literally got to know from your news instead of our news, the post their president made. It was viral. And so a lot of people on Facebook that are in my social circle, in my social bubble, share that news. And I didn't really go to mass media to see what's happening. But later, after we guys talked, and I thought I should go see how the media is presenting the news. And the media is actually not, which was very surprising. And that, I guess, explains a lot of what I'm going to say next. The relationship Lithuania and Taiwan has is based mostly on the political effort of one of the political groups. And a lot of the people who live in Lithuania are not even aware of it. And the news are not well presented. It's mostly because, I'm just guessing, it's not click-worthy. So, it's not pop news. Even though I think it's very positive news for our country. It was very well received globally, and Lithuania was praised for this effort and everything. But somehow locally, it's not news. What made me a little bit sad that there were people who were kind of angry about it, saying that, well, why would we donate those because they still remember when we still had lack of vaccines. At this point, we have more than enough vaccines. There's a worry that maybe some of our vaccines will get, the expiration date will be reached faster than they actually will be used. So it only makes sense having the nice relationship the countries have to donate and everything. But I guess people are not really that nice as we would like them to be. So I wanted to say something very nice that people are super excited, but it actually is either no opinion or like, why would you give them something? So I'm very sorry, but Lithuanians are not as nice as you think. Well, the ones who actually made this happen obviously are very nice, and but it's not the majority of the country. The whole relationship is basically, it was built and it keeps going on the efforts of the Conservative Party in Lithuania. And since our foreign minister is now the head of the Conservative Party, I think it kind of pushes the efforts further because he has now more power to do something about it. And that's why we have the relationship we have. That's why, we try to fight for you guys in the global courts and everything. Same as we do for Belarus, basically. I guess as some of the people we still remember when we were in a similar situation with Russia, and we kind of want to give back. And that's why we're fighting for the little guys. Even though, you're not that little in terms of people, but I Googled your country is much smaller than ours in terms of size. So I think that I actually, to give you like a broader understanding of what people think, I asked around what people think of what happened or what's happening with Taiwan, because only my opinion would not probably represent that well, the global view of Lithuania. So some of them were just basically no opinion. And some said understanding that the relationship we have kind of puts us at risk with China a little bit, because we're at least what it looks like from the side. And we maybe should not do that. But I don't know what could technically happen, but we're doing the same with Belarus, and Russia is just next to us. So it's even more technically scary and dangerous. But I guess we're once, the patriotic view is that we once showed Russia that we're tiny but mighty, and we're not afraid to show it again. So it's either Russia or China. We just don't care. We believe in it as a country, I think, and we're ready to whatever action there might be after.
Last year, Taiwan also sent some masks, medical masks to Lithuania. So it's like now Lithuania is helping Taiwan. So do you think it's what's your personal opinion about this?
I obviously think that not only the fact that the little countries help the other little countries, but also it's just a very nice mutual relationship that the countries have. And I sent you the link yesterday about the puffs and how Taiwan reacted, and that one of the sweets factory in Taiwan sent. They actually did send the whole container of puffs to Lithuania basically in return of the vaccines, which is very, very nice. And it makes it's a thing that when you think about it, it makes your heart kind of soft. And I think the more of the things like that the countries do, especially the tiny ones to each other, I think it makes the world seem a little bit nicer. So I'm all for it.
I'm now also curious, before you know me, what is your first thought when you hear Taiwan?
That's an interesting question, and good you pointed out before I knew you, because before I knew you, well, even when we got to know each other and you told me that you're from Taiwan, I think I had to check on the map where exactly Taiwan is. I knew it's an Asian country, but I did not exactly. I'm not sure, but I think I did not exactly know where it is. So as I said before, I asked some people just to kind of understand better what other people think. So the first thing that many people said is, where is it? That would be the first idea that someone would have. The other idea would be they make cheap electronic stuff, because that's what we remember from the childhood. Everybody knows it's tiny, but I don't think anybody understands that it's actually economically strong and much stronger than Lithuania is. First, I asked people what they think, and then I kind of told them a little bit more about Taiwan. So I taught some people as well. And a lot of people were kind of surprised about that. And I think it's very interesting that people here are not that much aware of what the country actually is, or even the history and the struggles. I think a lot of people don't even know that. Maybe that's why they don't really understand why it's important that Lithuania supports Taiwan, because they don't know what that means for Taiwan in terms of political things and everything.
Lithuania is going to open a trade office in Taiwan this year, hopefully. So I just think, how do you think, what would be the best way for Taiwan to promote their culture to attract Lithuanians?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Prime Minister wrote about it a couple of weeks ago, and it's very interesting, because I think a lot of people don't even understand what trade office is and what does it do. And but basically, I think it would be great to kind of for the countries to share what they could offer each other, not only as in terms of humanitarian things like masks or vaccines, but also economically. And but I think that if the idea is to attract the Lithuanian tourists to Taiwan, Taiwan should find the way they want to be positioned, like the marketing way, because they would be in the heads of Lithuanians, they would be fighting for the same spot as Thailand is, as Bali is, or Vietnam. And I don't know, but I'm just guessing, and I might be wrong, and you will correct me for this, but Taiwan would be a little bit more expensive to spend their holidays, in the beach than Thailand is. Based that the country is a little bit more economically evolved. So that would be one of the things that Taiwan should fight in terms of getting the attention of Lithuanians. Also, I think it's because I know that there's some universities in Lithuania that have connections to Taipei University, and so there is already students going, from one country to the other. I think that could be expanded, because Lithuanian students really like going abroad for studies. I mean, maybe all the students do, but that's something that could be expanded. And those students, when they come back, they bring a lot of information, they write articles about it, and then the people get to know a little bit more about the country. And I guess you should find the way to position what's your selling point. Is it so is it beaches, like for the holidays when it's not a typhoon season? Maybe it's the nature, because I've read about it a little bit, that you guys preserve your nature really nice and a lot of things to see in the nature. Maybe it's the buildings, the architecture. What is the selling point? So, and then just to see in the region who is the rivals, I guess, for the attention on those topics. Starting with a lot of, I don't know, the PR campaign, starting a lot of more information of what Taiwan is, how is it, that it's safe, that people are very nice, that maybe, I don't know, the trips are not that expensive as people think. So maybe the trade office could also, work in terms of sharing that information broader to Lithuania and helping people understand that we have those nice buddies in Asia that, would be really happy if we came to visit. But I think if people got to know a little bit more, they would be interested to come. Because, I know you, and that would be one of the things that could invite me to the country. But I also read a little bit more about it before this call, just so I'm really prepared for it. And it made me, all the information I read, it made me really interested in going and actually seeing the country. So I think sharing a little bit more information, allowing Lithuanians to get to know the country would be a very, very good starting point.
I'm so sure in the future we will have more chance to know each other. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I've never been on a YouTube channel before, so it's very interesting.
And I really hope we can meet each other either in Taiwan or Lithuania.
Very cool. We'll see each other in one of the countries for sure. Okay, guys, bye.
Take care. Bye. 好，我们的访问结束了。我觉得是一个蛮有趣的对话，就可以从媒体的角度之外呢，听听看当地立陶宛人他们究竟想什么，当地的状况是怎么样。
是，所以立陶宛、台湾一起加油，以后一定还有很多交流的机会吧。
好，那我们就下次再见喽。
Do
you have bubble
Sure.
tea there in Lithuania?
Yeah, and the interesting thing I learned today, that the shop that sells bubble tea in Lithuania is called Formosa, as the previous name of Taiwan.
Wow.
Oh, how cool.
I didn't know that,
so
but
cool.
yeah, so I learned a lot about Taiwan for this call, and I'm very happy I did.